Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tabletop Almanac. My name is Simon, and I am your host, and I'm joined this episode by these fine people to run through a session 0 of Historica Arcanum campaign Sigil of Jerusalem for the era of the Crusades sourcebook and setting book. This comes from Metis Creative out of Turkey. They're a very fine bunch of folks who have done City of Crescent, which is Istanbul during the Ottoman Empire, and Empires of the Silk Road, which is that whole kind of area during I think it's during like the Mongol, or like the Khanate, basically. Also really cool. Now, the system that it is wedded to is 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. Now, you might think to yourself, interesting, D&D and historical games. How does that work exactly? Well, they have done a bang-up job of basically making it work. It is still a D&D F20 setting, but it's like a fantasy version of our history. It does not 100% line up to everything. And in the book, you might find the section Lies We Told, which is where they deliberately twisted things around to better fit the narrative. So don't watch this expecting a full-on academic treatise on the area and the time, but know that they have those qualifications and they're well researched and well composed. So it's there. They just chose not to do it. Era of the Crusades is set in the I'm gonna say 11th century, because I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But let's just make sure I'm not off by a century here, which I don't think I am. And just oh no, 12th century, 1100s. Okay, and it's set in the Crusader states, Jerusalem, Cairo, which is not a Crusader state, of course. It is controlled by the Muslims under Saladin. So at this point in time, the Crusaders have taken and established themselves in Jerusalem and all around the Levant, like Tripoli, Edessa, and are sort of under threat of the mighty Saladin, Salvation of the Faith, who currently is based out of Cairo. The sort of king of the Crusader states is Baldwin IV, and if you've seen Kingdom of Heaven, yeah, then you'll have seen Edward Norton portray him with a mask the entire time. He wears a mask because he's a leper. He's also a very strong-willed, very determined king, and as might be expected in that era, the quite the diplomat, and everybody is still kind of the diplomat. Trying not, as much as they want to take everything from each other, they're also trying not to die and erupt into mass warfare more than they have to. Okay, so that is the rough sort of area we begin in, and we'll go around, and our wonderful group of assembled players can introduce themselves, preferred pronouns. Won't say who they're playing yet because we're going to work through that in this session. Yeah, we'll go from there. So why don't we start with Crow?
Oh no, it's like being in high school all over again. Hello, hi, I'm Crow. I do things like TTRPGs and also playing pretend. More on that later. And yeah, that's all about me, really.
All right, cool. Next, Suni.
Yeah, hey, what's up, guys? My name is Suni. My pronouns are she, her, and I enjoy being a little goblin with cool kids.
All right, next, Ray.
Hi, I'm Ray. My pronouns are he, him. I don't really have much else to say.
Cool. And last but not least, Toli.
Hey everyone, my name's Anatoly. I also go by Toli for short, and I love role-playing all sorts of things. So super excited to see what we have in store.
All right. And as I said, I am Simon, he, him. I am the game master for this. And I'm actually going to tell you one other thing that I neglected to mention before. Though this is made for 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, I have sort of found that it lacks a specific tactical nuance that I thought might be a little more fitting for the setting. Now, there are a few things that the Heir of the Crusades book adds, and we'll go over those as we do. But I thought, why not pick something incredibly compatible, but that has a few more options in that vein? And so we'll be using the Tales of the Valiant system from Cobbled Press to be our rule set throughout this. It is, by and large, essentially 100% compatible. There should be very few changes. When there's any sort of conflict, the Historica Arcanum book will come out on top, unless, after trying it through a little bit, we find that it's we'd like to try it a different way. But that'll be up to us as it comes. The campaign is done as milestone leveling, so we don't need to worry about XP, just enjoy the ride. It is still a D&D game, so it'll be a little bit D&D-y while it has all these other things surrounding it. In all of the HA settings, you can still expect some degree of dungeon crawling, although it might be, the sewers under somewhere, or this ancient cave network, rather than the random dungeon that exists for the purpose of plundering. Every character will start at level 3. This is because we want to use the subclasses from the Heir of the Crusades book, and subclasses in Tales of the Valiant don't start until level 3 for all of them. So this will give everyone the level 1 and 2 abilities if they are present for their subclass, and we all get to start around the same spot. So we have done a bit of talking offline about character types and what everyone's playing, and everyone's got a pretty good general idea of what they are playing. So we're going to go through character creation, and we'll do it step by step, as I mentioned before, zigzagging between Tales and Historica Arcanum until we're complete. So let's just start with ability scores, because we were talking about it just before. I proposed the idea that everybody rolls 46 6 times, drop lowest, and then as a group they pick the set that they like the best, and that way everyone has the same ability scores. There's no disparity in that sense. That seemed to be an acceptable choice. So if everyone could please roll 46, drop the lowest die 6 times, and then maybe post your results in the Discord or the chat so that we have it in front of us, rather than everyone remembers 24 numbers rattled off. All right, when you got yours ready, just let me know. Now, one of the things to think about as you go, oh, D&D, like, what happens? Are they all human? Well, they aren't. The rules don't say you have to be all human. And it just means that non-human species have to do things to hide their dragon scales or whatever. I have requested that we veer a little more towards the human side, with the possibility of otherworldly heritage as well. So originally it would be like ASMR or Ganassi elemental types. I want to kind of go for the sort of occult and mystical side of things, but Valiant has it set up a little bit differently, so we'll figure it out through there. Okay.
Anyone want to roll for me? Because I keep getting a bunch of ones. I keep getting the lowest things across the board. So if anyone else want to roll for me who is not cursed by the dice, go ahead.
All right. Who wants to take it on?
I just finished my rolls and I posted them in the Discord chats.
Okay.
Mine were not that bad.
No, they look pretty good.
Mine were actually really good.
Nice.
Wait, no 18s, but also 16s.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I was really happy with the 118. Ooh, yeah, that is solid.
Yeah, just solid across the board.
Yeah. Okay, I can roll for Crow if no one else has the capacity right now.
That'd be perfect. 'Cause I got 1, 5, and then 3 10s. And a bunch of 10s. That was about it.
I mean, there's always one person, right? Whenever you go roll for stats, there's one guy that goes, my stats at 12.
Right.
And then someone else is like, man, I have like 2 18s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why people have been pushing this like by, especially as the map gets more and more like robust, and those like strategies get bigger and bigger. It's just gets really unfair. Like you have these giant disparate stat.
Yeah.
My rolls are not great either.
I mean, it's fine. We can choose one set for all of us, right? So
That's true.
All right, mine's not terrible.
No, yours are really good, Simon.
Yeah,
that's
Yeah.
great.
yours are better than mine.
Do I even bother?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, bother.
Damn.
Yeah,
We can all choose to be remarkably average.
Yeah.
This is a super grounded campaign. We want those 10s.
I think I had enough of that with Warhammer.
Yes.
Oh yeah, my Warhammer was awful. You had a you rolled a 5?
Wow. So what was that like?
She's missing one.
1, 1, 2, 2?
Bunch of 1s and 2s, yeah.
Or yeah, 1, 2, 3, 1. Yikes. Okay. You only did 5.
Oh my god.
Although I guess unless you get an 18, it's not really.
Yeah,
All right.
it's a 10.
So what does everyone like the look of?
You like my
Simon?
9 guys?
Well, it's a good thing this wasn't all individual. Okay. So should we go with the one I rolled?
That one's
Yeah.
Um,
that one's a solid one, yeah.
Unless someone really, really wants an 18 and nothing else, we can go totally.
I don't hate having an 18, but I'm okay with going with Simon's.
Oh,
Same.
good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Here's where I'll metagame a little bit. If we're all playing human, we get the +1 ability score.
You don't. There's no bonus points in Tales.
Okay, well, see, I stand corrected because I was gonna say those 15s turn into 16s, those 13s turn to 14s.
Yeah.
Like that would just
They,
get you.
Are you just
+1
reaching
right
for
there.
validation?
Tales it gives you more points and point buy. Instead.
Shows you how much I read.
Okay. So your scores then are.
I think. Oh, here it is. Yeah, the odd modification that Tails has is that you get to add 1 to your score of your choice. That's 16 or below, and 1 to your score that's 17 or below.
This is for
If
humans.
you do the roll 46.
This is for humans.
No. Just for everyone.
Oh, okay.
Got it.
Like,
Oh yeah, I see it.
It's roll 46, drop lowest, then assign those numbers however you want. Choose one score that's below 16, add 2 to it. Choose one score that's below 17, and add 1 to it.
All right. Well, that'll help differentiate a little bit with everyone working from the same base. So, dear viewers, they have 10, 16, 16, 11, 16, and 17 to divide around. Knowing what they want to choose for their classes makes this probably easier. But then, yes, do note that you can Add 2 to a 16 or below and 1 to a 17 or below. And when you've got that all input, let me know, and we will move on to the next step.
Repeat that last part one more time, because
Yeah.
I remembered.
Add 2.
I pasted it in chat.
Oh, yeah. Great. 2 to 1 below, at 16 or below, and then 1 to a 17 or below. So I guess a 12 or a 13 or an 18.
Or you got 2 18s with this.
You could get 2 18s with this. That's pretty boss.
Yeah, like, all this is in lieu of the of like no racial adjustment.
Right.
So,
makes sense. All right.
I just realized I need a fillable 5e character sheet.
Did I give you the Tails one? No, the Tails. The
cleric one for I don't.
Yeah.
You didn't. Just, I realized I don't have one. So I was like,
All right.
has a
No,
character sheet.
it is there.
Is it there
For cleric?
The character sheet?
I don't remember.
TOV cleric. You.
No. The character sheet.
Oh, okay.
The one that has all the subclass info on it. Give me a second, man. Let me.
It's fine. I mean, I'm gonna use the generic character sheet anyway.
Right.
Now.
Let me just find it here. Store. Digital library. Whoops. What on?
Oh yeah, these ability scores are nice.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
I was originally planning on upping charisma, but I guess I upped dex instead.
Those are the two I'm bumping.
I mean, I was always going to up intelligence as well. Like, you don't need to be smart in D&D.
Well, we'll see about that.
Oh no. Don't say that. We're gonna do so much reading, guys.
Hell yeah.
We all like books, right?
It depends on the book.
Fair point.
I'm
Here, I'll have that character sheet for you momentarily. So that means that while we're looking at that, let's do the next step. Well, the next step was choose your class, which I think everyone has basically already done. So why don't we all just say what class we're playing? Tully?
I am playing a monk.
Ray?
I'm playing a cleric.
Suni?
I'm gonna be a bard.
And Crow?
Barbarian.
Nice. You may notice there are no arcane casters here. There are specific rules about magic casting in Historic Arcanum that make it particularly explosive and bad. Part of the setting is that reality, or the weave of reality and magic, doesn't like it when you mess around with it with spells. So the more potent an effect you attempt, the more likely it is to pinpoint you on the great globe that we live on and squash you and those around you with its thumb. That doesn't mean
is
though,
it only arcane?
no, I think it's everything. So
Yeah,
that
that's
also
about-
applies to
Yeah, that's
any spell-like ability or spell-like class. Basically,
because we have two full spellcasters here.
yeah. If you don't do the most mundane things, there's the chance that things will explode on you. So just keep that in mind as you're playing through, as you're choosing what you want to do. Okay. Now let's. Here I gotta hop between a few books here to get to where we want.
So we don't have anyone who's throwing around the fireballs in.
Throwing around what?
Throwing around fireballs. We don't have anyone throwing around fireballs, cloud of daggers.
No,
Not quite.
no.
Well, if I
So
find a
Suni
scroll,
gets like the bard spells.
yeah.
Okay.
And then
Those
from
are
what I read, there are some monk abilities that act as spells, so that will apply to me as well.
Yeah. Okay. So next step is lineage and heritage. Lineage and heritage replace race in Tales of the Valiant. Let's go through them and let me know the ones you want, and I'll tell you what you need for the game. So I'm going to take a glance here because I think most of them are not going to be specifically relevant. There are basically two, due to the way Valiant sets things up, that would sort of fit in the structure that I asked us to go with. So those would be human, obviously, and the other one is called Siderian, and those are people who they're mystical beings sired by creatures or powers from a different plane of existence. So basically, plane touched people. So they're one of their parents, or somewhere in their lineage, that might be a celestial being or an infernal being or other creatures. So let me know which of the two you'd prefer, and then heritage will help us sort of differentiate things a little more, expand on it. So, Crow?
Let me see, because I think I was leaning towards something like Asmar.
Yeah. So Siderian would
Yeah,
be the
that'd
equivalent.
be Darian. Yeah, because I was going to Asmar as well.
Okay. Well, then anyone who wants to be who wants some sort of plain touched character, raise your hand and you'll be a Siderian. Okay. And who wants to be a human? Totally. All right. Okay, cool. So, well, let's do Tully first then, because alphabetically he comes first. Okay, humans. All right, age, we can establish it. Your characters could be relatively young, but ultimately, with the conceits of a class level system, it doesn't really matter too much. It's all about when you start becoming a protagonist in a story. Your size is well, it can be medium or small. That's up to you. How tall you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Your base
medium.
Your speed is 30 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And your human kind of trait is ambitious. You get proficiency in a skill of your choice, and you get a talent of your choice from any of the lists, but you have to meet the prerequisites. A talent is the Valiant word for feat. So just make note of that, and we'll get to that as we get to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Siderians. Your age, well, you just live maybe up to 150 years, but otherwise it's roughly the same. Your size is medium. Your speed is 30 feet. You have what's called far sight. It's dark vision to 60 feet. And you can also see in magical darkness for 30 feet. due to your lineage, you have effectively an otherworldly form, resistance to necrotic damage, and deprivation times. So, like without sleep, oxygen, water, food is double a regular person. And then you have a choice. So let me know when you guys are ready for that.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right. You are either celestial or fiendish. And in this case, it can be as sort of overt as you want normally, but you also, with this ability, get an otherworldly guise that lasts for a little bit of time. So if you're celestial, they say you might have luminous eyes, metallic hued skin. You can stay perfectly still for hours. But your blessed guise, so once per long rest, you can use a bonus action to assume an otherworldly guise for 1 minute. This lets you sprout spectral wings and gain flying speed equal to walking speed for the duration of your transformation. And then once on each of your turns, when you deal damage with an attack or spell, you can make the damage radiant damage. For fiendish, once per long rest, you can use a bonus action to assume this otherworldly guise. While this lasts, creatures of your choice that come within 10 feet of you for the first time on a turn or start their turn there must make a charisma saving throw or become frightened of you until the end of your next turn. Once they succeed on it, they can't be affected again for 24 hours. And then you can do the same damage change to either necrotic or fire based on your... it says you can choose it to necrotic or fire, and that sort of suggests you can switch back and forth between them. But, you know, it might be as thematic if you just choose one at character creation. So who wants Celestial? Who wants Fiendish?
Which
You
is
have a preference?
Genasi?
So I don't think they have them exactly in here. That is one we might have to put aside or think and sort of convert ourselves, which I'm fine doing. But they're not part of the base.
Oh.
Because
setting.
they're in a pretty similar in powers to the Azamar. The main difference is that the Azamar, they get to add their character level to damage instead of just converting. Because that's, I think, the only real change to the and Celestials, the Protector, Fiendish is actually equivalent to the Fallen. It's actually a third one, Scourge, which is not there.
Yeah. So
I was tempted to go Scourge Azamar.
So you can go Fiendish. I mean, I'm fine with being very flexible on how you appear, and you can just pick one of those as the rules behind it, and then you can choose your...
I mean, for me, it's either going to be Scourge or Fiendish anyway.
Right.
But you know, I will appear like an Azamar of like the whole Fallen Angel type look.
Right. Well, so you were looking at Fire Genasi, right?
Yeah.
Well, we could just do Fiendish, and you pick fire damage, and when you change, you just get a little more fire elementally rather than demonic.
Okay.
So that'd be an easy sub.
So
if you were air or water, we could change it to like cold damage or something like that. You know, force, thunder, lightning, whatever. So, Crow, you're looking at ASMR before, right? You want to go Celestial or reskin?
I'm going Celestial.
Okay.
Well, I'll go Celestial.
Okay, getting some wings. Temporary wings. Okay, so I'll put it in the chat to make it easier. So that's for Celestial. This is for Fiendish. Okay. And then we come to heritage. That represents the upbringing and culture of your character. So this could be cosmopolitan city dwellers, grove forest denizens, and stone undermountain folk. And in Sigil, we do also have the, where are you from section here. So I want to do these. Where are you from? And then we'll pick the heritages sort of based off that. So, where did you come from to get to be in Jerusalem and be in the Levant right now? And the choices or suggestions, it's still open. You can really be from anywhere. Are I'm from the Kingdom of Jerusalem, so born in the city or nearby. I'm from Europe. I am from the Ayyubid dynasty, so it's Cairo, Alexandria, Damascus, Aleppo, anywhere controlled in what we would call Egypt and Syria. You can be Muslim, you can be Eastern Christian. It's still pretty open. You could also be from other Muslim countries. You could be from Isfahan, Baghdad, Tashkent, Anatolia, or anywhere in the remnants of the Seljuk Empire. You would know you would know maybe less about Jerusalem. You would be more likely to be Muslim. You could also be from the Byzantine Empire or other nearby Christian realms. That would include areas like Macedonia, Thessalonica, Kiev, Moscow, Thracia, this sort of Eastern European kind of block there before it reaches the Byzantine Empire and then across. You would be considered an ally of the Crusaders, or you could be an Eastern Orthodox and not be a fan of the Roman Catholics. You probably speak Greek, Russian, Armenian, something else similar to that. But you are, much like the previous one, a stranger to the lands. And then the last one is you're from a distant land. Could be anywhere: Delhi, Kyoto, Mali. And you've just found yourself here. So, where take a minute and kind of think a bit, and then I'll ask you to inform us as to where you're from. Totally, you're nodding.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the temptation to be from Anatolia is always real. So that is always the attractive option. And from what I know, it's pretty much like modern day Turkey, essentially, the Fertile Crescent area. And me being a monk, traveling would make sense. So I'm stuck between either that or doing like a distant land and really kind of lean into the foreign aspect and being in Jerusalem specifically for just like this is the next step on my sort of eternal pilgrimage, if you will.
I guess maybe we can think on your character's faith, if they have one, and then build from there. You can be either of the two predominant ones and still be from a distant land. Or you can be a completely different one as well.
I guess my question would be, how does... Because also I'm the only characters thus far that's not plain touched in any way. How does religion interplay with some of the more apparent forces that exist in this universe?
Right. So, Ray, there's a character sheet. So when it comes to non-human species in the Historica Arcanum universe, they do tend to hide themselves, and magicians don't tend to be super magician-y because of that backlash. That's probably one of the ways that you can kind of maintain roughly the same history, except with these little exceptions that they insert. I would, I guess, in a sort of looped way, where D&D or something like that, in its origins, almost kind of bases itself in a Abrahamic Christian kind of ethos of like good versus evil, yada yada yada. If you were to play a plain touched character and were to walk down the street, people might go like, "Oh, like there's that person's connected to the angels or something like that," or that person's definitely of the devil. And it wouldn't make as much sense in say the Forgotten Realms, except for the fact that it's an otherworldly being. But you're sharing your world with elves, dwarves, giants, dragons, blah blah blah. So why is that weird? Here, yeah, like maybe the hedge magician outside of town has some fey ancestry or infernal ancestry. Maybe it's more overt, maybe it's more covert. And people would react as you would expect. So if they have red skin, horns, cloven hooves, smell like sulfur all the time, then people might be a little like, oh, they're definitely from down below, if that's their faith, and vice versa. So it is set up as still as almost a fantasy world in that vein. Only it's treating our history and that sort of thing as the fantasy setting. I'm going to try where it's possible to sort of have fun with that and play it like that. So, I mean, it's a great time to pick out like weird bits of early Christianity and so on that aren't commonplace in modern day theology and practice, but would be the norm there. So our plain touch characters, don't have to disguise themselves as much as, say, a dragonborn would. But they might, depending where they are, obscure some aspect of their features. But say, if you had like a celestial plain touched crusader, then they might have like a cult of personality around them, because other crusaders are like, whoa, that person's actually like touched by God, like literally touched by an angel, or at least one of their parents was. And so they would work that way. Just think of it as like the local equivalent to, well, Heracles is the son of whomever, right? And he's wandering around and causing all sorts of trouble because he's kind of an asshole. Only it's your characters instead.
Yeah, I think in that sense, I'm leaning then, kind of like for the faraway land, leaning into sort of like the Shintoism aspect of
okay.
Everything is sacred, life is sacred, and I think traveling with 3 other plain touched beings, it would definitely make sense for me to be aware of who they are and also to embrace who they are as well. Like this is just life here. This isn't. I don't think.
And you see them through the lens of your own belief system.
Yeah, I think that makes sense to me, and I think the character that I want to build. So distant lands, and you
you can elaborate at a later point. Ray.
I'm thinking maybe item from Jerusalem, or maybe travel from Europe, maybe.
Okay. What's your deciding factor?
So
Or why are you still uncertain?
I guess I'm trying to find something to grab onto. That gives me a better narrative.
Okay, cool. Cindy?
I'm thinking they're gonna be from Cairo.
All right, cool.
I'm looking for like city vibe.
Yeah. All right. That'll be helpful for the next stage for the heritages. And Crow?
I'm thinking, looking at it, thinking might also be from Cairo as well. Kind of migrates around, but where he might be originally from is Cairo.
All right. Cool. The Sigil of Jerusalem assures me, the GM, but assures the reader that you can definitely have a party of people from all over the place, and it should run just fine. Maybe with a little bit of, professional ribbing back and forth.
I mean, well, since everyone else is going to be somewhat foreign, I'll be the local then.
Okay, from Jerusalem itself.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay, so let's get to this part in a second. So let's do heritages. From what everyone's described. Okay, so there are a number of them here. Not all of them will be relevant to what we're doing. So, for example, cloud heritage characters come from communities deeply entwined with arcane magic. And that's very much like towering elven cities kind of thing. I guess you could pick it if you want. I won't stand against you on that, and we'll just work out how it goes. But the other ones, a brief synopsis. There's anointed, and those who have accepted a supernatural connection to extraplanar creatures or cosmic forces. They're selected by fate, favored by divinity, bearing an ancestral burden. Basically, your life is governed by the supernatural. So there's cloud, as I just mentioned, cosmopolitan, so citizens of the world, exposed to many different peoples and cultures, come from major cities, populated by people from many different parts of the world. If you were from Constantinople, cosmopolitan would be a perfect example, but other places as well. Cottage, you're from like an agricultural community, semi-self-sufficient, who tend the land. Diaspora, well, obvious, you were sent forth from your ancestral homeland due to reasons which we can get into. Fireforge, from raised with values and traditions of crafting communities dependent on the resources found in fiery and often inhospitable locales. They're very much smith-based, but also heat resilient. So that could be a decent Ganassi one. You could be, could have been born and raised on that side of your heritage. Mechanically, you would be a pretty decent craftsperson. Grove, those who live in harmony with nature, forest communities, and so on. Nomadic should be pretty self-evident. Salvager, you've carved out a society away from the comforts of traditional cities or settlements. So you make do with what you can find and build up around there. And this one's interesting. Slayer, raised in a society of like-minded people dedicated to hunting monsters. And sort of, I guess, yep, that's what we do vein. Stone heritage, you're raised in a subterranean community, which if you were maybe in one of those like cave cities, could kind of fit. Supplicant, a community bound to serve a monstrous overlord. Um, we could pick some particularly unpleasant historical figure and put them in that person's stead. Vexed is defined by defiance of a supernatural connection to extraplanar creatures and cosmic forces. And then Wildlands, communities deeply entwined with primordial magic. So, like Beast Affinity kind of people, Mononoke Hime kind of setup. Okay, based on those ones, which did any jump out at you as being particularly fitting for what we wanted?
Slayer, definitely.
Slayer. Okay. All right. So I'll go through that stuff now for you. So Slayer heritage. The communities dedicate their lives to hunting powerful predators that might topple natural ecosystems, dragons, trolls, and so on. They value strength and tracking skill highly. From infancy, they are taught to hunt, track, and survive in wilderness environments. So you probably would have done this somewhere in the vicinity of Cairo, getting creatures from I don't know, whatever's in that general area. Okay, so here are your mechanical elements. Natural predator, you have proficiency in intimidation and advantage on intimidation checks to influence beasts and creatures with the animal tag. Here, I'll copy it for you so it's easier
Perfect.
to read through and put on your sheet. Tracker, you can add your proficiency bonus to checks to locate, spot, or track creatures. In addition, doubling your proficiency bonus for the roll, and you know common and an additional language of your choice. We'll talk about languages in a little bit, just kind of make like a placeholder, and we'll sort through appropriate ones. Okay, anyone else?
What was that one? Where you live in like the lesser livable places? What was that one?
Salvager. Like you make do with what you can find and repurpose.
I don't know if that hits for what I have in mind. And what do you get from Cosmo?
From Cosmopolitan?
Mm-hmm.
Street smarts in a city or urban environment, advantage on ability checks to avoid getting lost, and checks to find a particular kind of business or destination open to the public. You can't be asleep, can't be surprised unless asleep or incapacitated. You get the history skill proficiency, and can add your proficiency bonus to a check related to understanding the significance of a building, object, right from a culture you're not familiar with. And you get more languages.
Oh. I'm thinking about it. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else right now? Ray, totally.
I'm going between Vexed and Anointed.
Whichever side of the coin you want.
Yeah, basically.
I'm stuck between Grove and Nomadic. Grove, I think, appeals to me in the sense that, again, it's sort of like more in tune with
the natural
the
world
environment around me.
Mm-hmm.
Though I would need to figure out why I left. And Nomadic is because I would currently be nomadic. So even though my journey is the same, I just trying to figure out what the starting point will be.
I think I'll go with Vexed.
Next. Cool. All right, it's 2 down, 2 to go.
Yeah, it's sell me on Grove first, because I think that's the one that I think appeals to me more right off the cuff.
Oh, do you mean Wildlands or Grove?
Grove.
Grove, okay. You have a climbing speed equal to walking speed. You have advantage on stealth checks made while you're lightly obscured by foliage, heavy rain. This is basically you're a wood elf, but not a wood elf.
Mm-hmm. And then nomadic.
Nomadic. You're resilient to advantage on checks or saves against debilitating weather effects. You get less exhausted, and you get survival proficiency.
Gotcha. Let's go with nomadic then.
All right. Here, I'll put the stuff for you here. Okay, well, I'll edit that so it's obvious. And Ray, I'll put Vexed in. All right, Suni. Let's get you a heritage.
I'm still stuck between Cosmopolitan and Scavenger. I think I'll just
Coin.
flip a coin, yeah. Literally grab a coin.
All right.
Scavenger.
Scavenger. All right. Salvager, but yeah.
Salvager.
Okay. Actually, this would fit nicely, or it would synthesize nicely with what
Oh, my concept?
we were talking about with your concept.
Oh, my God. The coin you.
Okay. So we have completed that part of things. Now, let's look at Sigil of Jerusalem again. Okay, you've got a number of. We're going to look at why you are currently headed to Jerusalem to enter it. That is the buy-in, the conceit at the start of the campaign. There are some suggestions based on class, and there's also business reasons, personal reasons, and you can or other, and you could do it randomly, or you could pick from there. I think in some cases we already looked at a few of them. So if you chose one previously, just let us know what it is. And if you haven't yet, then we'll do it now. Anybody choose already? Pro?
I think I chose. My reasoning was I was traveling for a friend
Mm-hmm.
who couldn't be here.
Was it a dear friend now past, always dreamed of visiting?
Right.
All right. But could never make the journey. Carrying their diary filled with notes and sketches of the city, you embark on this journey to fulfill their dream, experiencing the city through their eyes. Still good?
Yep.
Cool. All right. All right. Anyone else want to roll randomly or choose from a particular section?
Yeah, I was leaning towards, if we're looking at the same page, either number 2 or number 4. So either my quest for ancient knowledge led me to Jerusalem, or the dear mentor that dreamt of the pilgrimage here had passed away, and I'm here to honor their wish. I think either way sort of leans into that nomad aspect.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not sure how much I'm leaning into my character being that sort of a scholar person.
Okay.
I think either way, they're both kind of similar to one another in a sense.
Yeah.
You know, this was a decent scholarly type tied to monks anyway.
Yeah.
You know,
No matter where you're from.
Yeah.
They've all got that.
Yeah, they spend so much time isolated.
Mm-hmm.
So lots of philosophy.
Yeah. A lot of time to think. All right. Does anybody want to roll randomly? Does anyone want one
I'll roll,
related to their
sure.
class? Okay. Do you want it from other, personal, or business?
Probably personal. Maybe other,
Right.
but personal.
Do you want to roll one for each and see what you get?
Sure.
All right. So 1d8 for personal, 1d6 for other.
An 8 and a 2.
8. Personal. You have a calling in your heart. It lies in Jerusalem, and you know it's a holy duty. You must join this holy war as a crusader or as a Saracen. And then
that kind of fits me pretty closely.
Yeah, and then number 2.
Yeah, 2.
In your family's old heirlooms, you discover a cryptic scroll hinting at a long-lost family treasure hidden somewhere in Jerusalem.
Yeah, probably go with the other.
All right. Suni, do you want to pick or roll randomly?
Funny enough, I was reading the same one that Ray picked.
Hey,
Oh,
we
yeah.
have the same reason.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Done.
Okay, cool. So, Toli, you want to pinpoint?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go for 2. Your quest for ancient knowledge leads you to Jerusalem, driven not just by curiosity, but to repay a debt of honor to a legendary scholar. Failure to uncover the sought-after secrets could tarnish your mentor's legacy forever.
Okay. All right. So, that's why you came. I don't see that we're going to necessarily have a lot of conflicting characters. Ray theoretically could be, but that's kind of up to you. That being said, it doesn't matter. You can be on whichever side you want. You and Suni can be going there for opposite sides.
Well, I wouldn't even be going, right? I'm from Jerusalem.
Oh yeah, right. So you could be angling for other ones. Okay, so we did pick your sub classes already, and why don't we give the basic idea of them? You don't have to go through the mechanics, but you can introduce which one you chose and tell our audience a little bit about them. Crow, do you want to start?
Sure. For Omar, I picked Barbarian Path of the Otherworldly Might. So he is a barbarian that focuses on that weird part of himself, that more celestial, I guess you would say. That's mostly the focus of his thing. Yeah, that also goes along with him being a monster slayer. So the two things work out.
They do. So you picked aspect of the celestial?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And next is cleric. Ray, you want to tell us a little bit about your domain?
I am choosing the Flagenet domain. I mean, sure, if people any familiar with history know that flagellation was a relatively popular sub religion of both Catholics and Muslims at the time. They believe in hurting themselves to be closer to God and to help redeem the sins of themselves and others.
And you get some pretty neat abilities here. Of
all about
taking,
hurting myself and not properly healing myself properly. Yeah.
But then sending that to an enemy. So Yeah. Fun.
I hurt myself to hurt others more.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Okay, we don't have a druid or a fighter. Monk.
Yes. So I am Way of the Pilgrim. Uh, I mean, essentially, it's sort of what I've been describing before. You know, I kind of give up the worldly possessions. I'm hardened by my journeys, uh, and my whole purpose in life is, in fact, the journey. It's trying to get something deeper out of it, essentially. A lot of focus on sort of just surviving. It's a lot of focus on uh, at the very beginning at least self-sufficiency, but then as sort of time goes on, it's you know helping other people make the journey as well.
Nice. All right. And Suni, I apologize. Yours actually came up first, and I didn't notice it. So, as a bard, let us know about your college.
Okay, see what had happened was I had the PDF and I lost it, and now I am bumbling to find it.
No, I sent that specific one up to you. So let me just jump.
You are a doomsayer or something
Mhm.
along those lines.
Yep.
Yep,
Yep.
She's a
I'm a
doomsayer.
doomsayer. I was gonna read a little bit more, but I can just spin it.
Well, hold on. Let me find you something useful.
She's one of those crazy people that stands in corners of the street and goes, "The end is nigh."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
so yeah, basically my whole role is to let you guys know that we are fucked. And I'm going to do it in a really tactful way.
Sure.
Wait,
All
are you gonna
right.
have like the bell with it and everything?
Yeah, I have a bell.
Perfect.
Um, and there are different ways for me to tell how we're doomed, and I have my preferred ways.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah. So um, you're also very good alarm system. So, in as much as you are wandering around uh, prophesying death and judgment, that means you're also able to detect death and judgment coming, um,
It's very useful.
but can also, yeah, terrify people or inspire them like a bard would. So,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I love this. Level 3, Tale of the End. When you reach that level, your consciousness starts overflowing with visions of the end, and they take root in your speech, music, and art. Okay,
Yeah, it's gonna be
fun
great.
stuff. All right. So, those are the classes and subclasses. Let's move along. Okay. So, backgrounds and uh, professions. So, professions is a new subsystem brought in Historica Arcanum, and it is an occupation for your characters. It's what you do when you're not adventuring, when your barbarian hat or monk hat isn't on. Um, what do you do? And in many cases, this can be what do you do to make a living. But here it's downtime, and you'll gain experience in that profession based on doing things that get you experience. So basically, acting in that profession. Um, so there should be opportunities, and we'll make opportunities wherever possible for you to get professional experience. And professional experience progresses you through ranks in each profession, from apprentice to journeyman, expert, and then master. You start at apprentice, and you can spend the XP on abilities related to it, um, which can do things like give you proficiencies or reduce the time it takes to craft something, things like that. And then moving up, of course, as you become more experienced in that system. There are some from other HA books that will be relevant, and I know we've chosen a few of them here. So if you'd already chosen one, just let us know what you do for a living. Who wants to go first? Anybody? Crow.
I'll go first. I'm a bounty hunter, so not only do I catch monsters from the deep, I also catch monsters who do other things that end up on a wanted list, including, but not limited to, not paying back that debt that they owe. So there's that.
Nice. All right. Suni, you picked one.
Yes. Our beloved Doomsayer is a grave robber as well. Because they need bones to tell the fortunes. And where else do you get them but graves?
Right.
And that's how I make money too, you know? Sometimes I steal some gold, you know.
It does fit in well with the salvager heritage.
Don't waste anything.
Exactly. All right, Ray, did you pick one? Or are you still thinking?
I think there was a holy figure one, I think.
Ecclesiastic?
Yeah, I think that's his name.
Yeah. Let's look. There's Ecclesiastic and probably not Interrogator. I'm looking at the Crusade ones. Herbalist. Yeah. All right, Ecclesiastic. Let me... Nope. I went too far. All right, let's see what book that's from. So far, they've chosen from City of Crescent. All right, perhaps it is in Silk Road. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Grave Robbers from Silk Road. Bounty Hunters from Ecclesiastic. Sorry, from Crescent. Oh, my gosh. Am I spelling it right? The best thing about PDFs is the search function. Like, you still have to spell it right. Yeah, I did it. Okay. All right. Here we are. It's in Silk Road as well. Yeah. So religious services contain funerals, joining couples in marriage, delivering the message of your religion. You can see a lot of these things appealing to people of very unique tastes. Let's get married by the flagellant. Let's have him deliver the final rites or baptize somebody. Okay. I'll give you the info on that. Totally? Is there one that...
Yeah. I was thinking between archaeologist and antiquarian.
Mm-hmm.
I think both appeal to me for different things. But I don't know the mechanics behind them, so...
Sure. Well, let's look at them then.
Yeah.
Antiquarian. Antiquarian's a historian, natural scientist, things like that. So, very much an academic.
Okay, yeah. Archaeologist probably would fit more.
They might also be an academic. Let's see. No, they're like a Tomb Raider, Indiana Jonesy type.
Yeah.
Archaeologist. Okay. All right. Now, did any of these come with a background? Yeah, I'll give those to you shortly. Okay, so some of these do come with a background option. So I'll let you know what it is. Totally archaeologist background is aspiring archaeologist. Oh, I see. Never mind. That's actually just, these are just enhancements on what's already there. So let's go back to Tales of the Valiant. Backgrounds. The backgrounds in this are very much like backgrounds in, well, 5e. So let's look at each of them, and you can choose the one that is most appropriate for you. Adherent. Before you began adventuring, you committed yourself to a faith, belief, or cause. Artist. I'm not going to explain that one. Courtier. You spend a lot of time in a royal court. Also, can you explain art? Criminal. I'm not explaining that one either. Homesteader. Yeah, you're one of the like frontier people. You made a livelihood in places between settled areas. Maker is a craftsperson. Outcast. Rustic. You spent most of your life as no one of consequence. Perhaps you were the blacksmith's child who preferred to wear the armor, a shepherd who watched her flock devoured by ogres, or an elderly dwarf miner who wanted to see the world before the end. Scholar, well, yeah, and soldier. So, from those, any stand out?
I think you should clarify on what a criminal is, because morals are just so gray. I think I'm gonna go with criminal though.
Okay. All right, criminal. Sounds good.
How dare you? How dare you call me criminal?
Smooth criminal.
Redemption.
Anyone else have one that speaks to them yet?
I'm once again debating between adherent or outcast.
Right.
Because those are the two sides of what I am.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go outcast.
All right.
Scary guy with a scary sword and comes out. But yeah, outcast.
Sounds good. Outcast, criminal, possible outcast or adherent. And adherent might work for you too, totally.
Yeah. I'd be fine with that. Are you allowing other 5e backgrounds?
I think we could
Probably tweak them
for it.
Yeah.
The main thing about these is that they all give talent, which
right.
which is unique to this. Basically, you get a feat along with your background in system.
So we can mold it into this.
In base, I think it's base 5e. There's one that's like Outlander, which is pretty much like a nomadic type of a person. Grew up far from sort of like civilization.
Homesteader might work for that.
Adherent.
Homesteader is like a mountain man, Grizzly Adams kind of.
I'd be fine with Homesteader as well.
Yeah, Homesteader works. I think Homesteader works. What it has is it's like far traveler. You get things like hunting traps, fishing tackle.
Yeah. You're just a little more you yourself are just a little more nomadic than some of them may be.
Yeah,
is really it. All right, so I will give you the info you all need in just a second. Okay. So let's start at the top.
Yeah, I think I'll just go with outcast.
Okay. So criminal. Skill proficiencies. Choose 2 from stealth, investigation, insight, or deception. In additional proficiencies. Are you ready? You know thieves can't. You gain proficiency with a tool and a vehicle. And cart counts as a vehicle. Those are not easy to drive.
Say less.
And then equipment. Ready? You have 5 pieces of chalk, a grappling hook, a set of dark traveler's clothes or a costume in the, like, burglar kind of costume. And a pouch containing 10 gold. And we'll work the currency equivalency into that afterwards. Okay, you went homesteader? Oh, sorry. And then talent. You can choose a talent from this list to represent your experience. Let's see. Covert, scrutinous, or touch of luck. And they're probably under technical. Covert, you need stealth, dex 13 or higher, which I'm guessing you have. And it lets you hide while you're less obscured than you would normally need. Creatures that have dark vision can't see you if you're motionless. You don't have disadvantage on certain rolls against targets in dim light. Oh, cool. So if you attack someone from hidden with a ranged attack, and they spot you, or if they spot you, you can then use a reaction to possibly remain hidden and your target is unaware of where you are. That's covert. Scrutinous. Keen eye for detail. So I guess you can read lips. You get a bonus to your passive perception and investigation. When you spend a minute or longer examining an object for finer hidden details, you can ask me one question about it and I have to tell you the truth. If you hear a creature speak for 1 minute or longer, you can mimic its voice. That's pretty something. Touch of luck. When you would gain 1 luck as a result of failing an attack roll or save, you instead gain 2 luck. That's like inspiration. If you have 5 luck and would gain a 6th, your luck total resets to 1d4 plus 1. So it does max out and then reset. So you get more. Or you wouldn't necessarily go down all the way. Any of those?
The first 2 I'm leaning towards the most.
Yeah.
I already get investigations with my background.
Do you want to think on that for a moment while I do the next one? All right, homesteader. Skill proficiencies. Survival, which I think you might already have.
I actually would have it twice. So Way of the Pilgrim gets survival, and then Nomadic gets survival as well. So I'm actually thinking of maybe changing to Grove instead of Nomadic.
Okay.
Because I don't know if I don't think they'll stack in any sort of way.
I don't know what the 5e rules about stacking proficiencies. I know Pathfinder just lets you choose any other proficiency. Is a rule when it stacks like that. But I don't know what the 5e rules is. So don't know after that.
Does that ever get detailed?
It should. I mean, if
You would
people
think so.
choosing stuff that
Doubles up.
like all linked together, you're gonna stack pretty often.
I don't think it does, because whenever I had to build sheets with my players, I noticed that I forgot where I read it that it doesn't stack.
So you just get screwed.
Yeah, you just get screwed, so you might as well like pick something else because you have like a list to
Yeah.
choose from.
Okay, you want to take Grove instead?
Yeah, let's go for Grove instead. I think they
Reduce
gave
the.
me like stealth or something.
Well, you know what? Okay, here's what we can also do. We can keep it as it is, and we can give you alternates. So normally, Homesteader would get survival and choose one from athletics, animal handling, or intimidation. So why not just take two of those,
Sure. That works.
and then we can keep the concept.
Yeah, all right. That works for me. In which case I would choose athletics and animal handling.
Nice. All right. You also get proficient.
So there is a rule for it.
Oh yeah.
If a character will gain the same proficiency from two different sources, he or she may choose a different proficiency of the same kind.
Oh, so
Yeah.
basically,
So you do basically just get to choose any other one.
Okay, so then your
Sounds
other
good.
survival, swap it for something else. And yeah, if anyone else runs into the same thing, just swap it out. It's kind of funny based on the way the light's setting up here. I get a bit of a lens flare at a certain point, but I have that like corona behind my head from the background. So all this works out nicely. Okay. You also get proficiency with either herbalism tools or navigator's tools.
Gonna go with that herbalism.
And then here's your gear.
Mhm.
A hunting trap, fishing tackle, a razor sharp skinning knife, a canvas hammock, a set of heavy traveler's clothes, and a pouch containing 8 gold worth of gold crusted quartz. All right, now before I get into talents for you, Sony, have you decided on one of the two you were thinking of?
I'm gonna go covert.
Covert. Okay. So covert. Let's give you that here. So Tolly, Homesteader, gets one of these: Aware, Dungeoneer, or Far Traveler. So let's go through what those are. Aware, you have exceptional situational awareness. So if you roll 9 or lower on initiative, you roll a 10. If you're conscious, you can't be surprised. Hidden creatures don't have advantage on attack rolls made against you. Dungeoneer, you've studied or at least survived your share of hazards and learned a thing or two about sniffing out secrets. You can add your proficiency bonus to checks made to disarm traps and open doors, even if you're not proficient with the tools. The first time you fail an ability check while disarming a trap, opening a door, or passing a hazard, it doesn't trigger the trap or block the door or force you into the hazards area. You have advantage on perception and investigation checks made to search for secret doors, find traps, and see through illusions. You have advantage on saves made to avoid or resist traps or hazards. You are resistant to damage from traps and hazards. When combat begins, you and allies within 5 feet can attempt a dex stealth check for the purpose of determining who is surprised. And Far Traveler, you and your allies can travel up to 10 hours each day instead of the standard 8 before you must make a con save for forced march. At a fast pace, traveling doesn't impose the -5 to your passive perception. You have advantage when you make a survival check to determine if you become lost. You ignore the effects of having 1 level of exhaustion. When you have 2 or more, you suffer the effects of exhaustion normally.
Yeah, all right. I'm leaning towards the dungeoneering one. I think that'll fit with archaeologist a little bit better. And my path currently does help me with exhaustion in general, so I don't think I'm gonna lean towards the last one. So let's go for the dungeoneer. I think that'll also help round out our team a little bit.
Okay. So that's in your thing. Now, all of these have adventuring motivations, but we're going to ignore those because we've already done why are you coming to Jerusalem. Okay. Anyone else have one that spoke to them? Oh, right. Outcast, both of you. Okay. You get 2 skill proficiencies from Deception, Insight, Sleight of Hand, or Stealth. You get proficiency with 1 type of game set and either Charlatan's Tools, Herbalism Tools, or Thieves' Tools.
I'll probably go for herbalism tools for myself.
To make your wounds worse.
Yes.
You definitely shouldn't rub this one in them. Ugh.
I think I'm already resistant to infection.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
it's but that is probably the reasons why I probably learn to take care of them better, so I don't kill myself
Right.
in cutting myself.
Crow?
Let's see, we have a criminal who probably, my bad, not a criminal, just someone who's just morally gray. So I'll just pick some. I'll probably grab some thieves' tools just to assist them.
Right. And the proficiencies for the 2 of you? Did you choose? Deception,
Yeah.
Insight, Sleight of Hand, or Stealth?
Deception insects me, which kind of stacks a little bit of one of the others I have, but
Make a different one.
well, sleight of hand and stuff don't really make any sense to me at
Right.
all.
Well, maybe Sleight of Hand.
Lie to people?
Huh. My scourge is actually in this hand. Ha ha ha. You can't stop me.
I know I want to grab insight. I just don't know what the other one I want to grab.
Do you have stealth already?
What? No, I don't have stealth, so let me just grab that.
Yeah,
No.
I'm probably gonna go stealth instead of with my 10 decks and my heavy armor. I'm sure it's gonna go great.
Clunk, clunk, clunk. Okay. And your equipment. A dark cloak and a set of dark common clothes. A silver coin given to you by a kind stranger. And a pouch containing 10 gold. It does not have to be the same kind stranger, but we'll see what happens.
We were both given money by the same guy.
Yeah. This is walking around distributing silver coins. Okay, and your talent choices are from aware, opportunist, or quick. So aware is the one where you do better on initiative, like anything 9 or below is a 10, and you can't be surprised. Hidden creatures don't get advantage on attack rolls against you. The others. It was quick was one of them. Yeah, quick and opportunist. So quick, you're uncommonly agile while not wearing medium or heavy armor. Your speed increases by 10 feet. When you take the dash action, you can move along vertical surfaces. If you fall as a reaction, you can ignore a number of feet equal to 5 times your proficiency bonus. If this allows you to ignore the entire distance of a fall, you can land on your feet. And as a bonus action, you can move up to 5 feet without provoking an opportunity attack or expending movement. And opportunist. You find openings in your target's defenses. When you make an opportunity attack, you have advantage on the attack roll, and a creature within reach of your melee weapon provokes an opportunity attack from you when they stand up from being prone or take the use an object action. They all sound good to me.
I mean, quick is probably not gonna be very useful for me.
Unlikely.
I mean, I guess I could swap and become a dex cleric.
Yeah. Instead of a tank cleric.
Yeah, to wear robes around instead of like in heavy armor. I mean, it could work image wise, you know. The guy who goes into armor with no armor on.
Yep.
But I'm going to take quick because I don't really need the armor. So That would work well for me.
All
I
right.
mean, the others are really nice too. So
Yeah, I like them. Opportunist. That was kind
yeah,
of nice.
opportunists to make those opportunity attacks really land. To be front line, it's
And,
really strong.
but
And
quick
aware
makes sense
obviously,
for Omar.
yeah, and going first is always strong, no matter what.
Yeah. So which one do you want?
Probably might just go over aware.
Or it's also good.
Yeah, I think it's more flexible for me in case I want to, get a spell off early as well.
All right. Says backgrounds and talents. And we're closing in on things here. Gonna do one thing here. We've done professions, so that's good. And it's gonna give Tully that. Okay. After professions. Well, we'll skip those. Those are NPCs. We don't need to talk about them right now. You'll meet them soon enough. And that's the campaign beginning. So we'll stick with Tales of the Valiant now. Equipment. I believe your class has the information on how much you start with. Or perhaps not.
It does.
Yeah, this is
the,
gear.
the bard does.
The Bard has gold?
Yeah, starting.
Yeah, they all do. I think there's a yeah.
Where am I not seeing it?
It's usually in the beginning of all of the
it's at the very beginning.
TOV stuff. It's like right after class features. It'll say starting equipment.
Yeah, but none of them have any gold. So I guess you don't have it.
Oh, no.
Okay, that's cool. All right.
I mean, it's probably like an alternate rule to start with gold instead of equipment.
Yeah, well, let's start with equipment. That gives you more reason to want gold.
I mean, you end up using the gold to buy equipment anyway.
What's that?
End up using the gold to buy equipment anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so.
So go ahead and take your equipment from your class.
Can I get a sword instead of a hammer?
Sure.
Because I kind of find it hard to cut myself with a hammer.
Well, it just means you got to try harder.
Yes, through my thick armor.
Interesting. Yeah. So there's a a little bit of a life events table that we could play with and roll on and get a bit of a background, which you can use or ignore as you like. If we want, we can do it, but everyone does also seem to have a pretty solid sense of who they want their character to, like what their character came from and all of that. So it's not it's not critical, but let me know if you want to do that, and we can. Otherwise, I think we might be done. You want to think of anything we might have missed?
Oh, languages.
Yeah, thanks.
Languages.
There's some some nice rules in here for as well for forging your own knightly orders, which is also just a way of saying create your own organization. They don't have to be knights, but it's a nice setup to kind of create a gives pretty robust but flexible details on that group. All right. Let's see if we've got because Simon doesn't necessarily know all the languages spoken at that time in that area. Perhaps the book does. Oh yeah, okay. So I do want to talk to y'all about the Deck of the Damned. And this is Historica Arcanum's means of representing the stress caused during adventuring. And you can receive it in three ways: in combat, dealing with arcane mysteries, or grim and tragic events that happen outside of combat. And there's a severity level attached to a number of different things. So, for example, in combat, severity 1 is things like, and this is going to happen when combat's kind of going against you. So, a player character or ally takes significant or unexpected damage, like a critical hit. They go below half their maximum hit points, lose a third of their hit points from a single attack, get hit by an attack of opportunity. So if that happens to you, it doesn't happen to everybody, you get a severity 1 stress attack, and you'd have to make a saving throw, in this case against DC 12. Severity 2 is DC 14, 3 is 16. And if you fail, oh, wait, I was mistaken on that. I believe in this case that if you fail, you've got to roll. Yeah, you roll a d20, and then it tells you who's affected, the saving throw they have to make, and what happens if they succeed or fail. So if that combat severity 1 hit you and you rolled a 3, the character that is next in the initiative count would have to make a charisma saving throw against 12 or become stunned until the end of their next turn. But if they succeed, they'll gain inspiration, so luck for us. But it could be the character with the lowest wisdom score who then has to make a wisdom save. And then if they fail, they subtract 1d4 from their next attack, roll, ability check, or saving throw. Or if they succeed, they get +1 to those until the end of the next turn. So these things are ways of just showing the impact of all of these, both mundane and supernatural events. Okay, so languages. They are probably in the beginning, but I'm just going to check through here. Okay. Rolled up. That's going slowly. Maybe I want my own. Yep. Too slow. Okay, great. If you can speak common, you have 3 potential. Oh, right. We're going to a higher level. We got to do that, don't we? Okay, so we'll do that after this part, languages. Then we'll level up. All right, so languages. If you speak common, You can choose languages that are spoken in the Kingdom of Jerusalem, that is Latin, French, and Italian. You can choose languages that are spoken in Egypt and Syria, Turkish, Arabic, and Persian. If you're from another civilization, pick your native tongue. And one extra language spoken in the Holy Lands. So one of the ones I just mentioned. If you get bonus languages, you can take anything from that section, that common one, or any other living language: German, Greek, Aramaic, Hebrew, Kurdish, Armenian, Mandarin, Tibetan, anything of that time. I don't think it has any, exotic languages here, but that'd be like ancient Greek, ancient Latin, Sumerian, hieroglyphs, stuff like that.
Do you have a thing with Slayer? So
What's that?
you would. So my language thing for Slayer, there's a additional thing for like Primordial and Sylvan.
Yeah. I guess I would put that under exotic, and you could pick from there. So maybe it's one passed through your people that they used to speak, or something like that. I mean, if you're from
Yeah.
Cairo, you could have hieroglyphs because that's what they used way back when your Slayer people began slaying or whatnot. You could also take ancient Greek in that case too.
Vexa's esoteric language, closely aligned am I pursuing power of force. Abysmal, celestial, infernal.
Right.
And what would be like the most common language spoken in Jerusalem, would you say?
Latin or French, but
okay.
I guess Italian too. I didn't know it was that common, but definitely Latin and French I know of for sure.
Yeah, I probably just am going like Hebrew or something.
Yeah. For celestial and infernal, is Enochian actually a language here? Occult constructed language, so no, and not yet. All right. Level 3 gold. What's reasonable for that? Because it always used to be like multiply it by a different number. Oh, well, leveling up. And then you get your proficiency bonus, class features, proficiencies, hit points. Yeah. I don't have the GM's book, so I don't have a specific. I don't have any guidance on that part.
I think totally just pasted a link for it.
Yeah.
For the info? Oh,
it
for
looks
D&D.
like it's around
yeah,
like
D&D,
200
okay.
for
all right.
level 3.
Let's do that. 200 gold for level 3. Have fun doing your shopping. I'll give you a price list shortly. Okay. So otherwise, languages are done. Names. Right. You can level up on your own, I assume. You don't need to go through that. So I know Crow is playing Omar.
Yes.
And were there any other names? Because there are suggestions if you find yourself lacking in ideas based on where you're from.
I do have a name, but also I do have a request. Do you have the equivalents of the spell lists? Because there's like word and divine, and I don't know what those are for like.
Oh yeah, okay. So spell lists and bard. Oh, weird and divine, yeah. So divine is like cleric based. Weird is sort of fey based, otherworldly based, occult based. So for bard, you get you get the arcane spell list. Okay.
Yeah, and then I also get rituals.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we can we can select those.
You know, off camera.
Off camera, yeah. Just because it's a spell list. So we'll do that part later, and I'll also show you some of the ones in Era of the Crusades too.
Ooh, okay.
Because there are some new spells.
Ooh, okay. Do any of these new spells put people in danger?
What's that?
Oh, wait.
Any of these spells
put people in danger?
Yeah, probably.
Perfect. And also my my character's name is Atash.
Atash. Okay. Awesome.
My character's name is going to be Geula, but I'm probably going to tell people I have no name.
Okay.
Geula is the Hebrew name for redemption.
Ah, nice. Cool.
Yeah, I have no idea. I've fiddled with some name generators online and nothing is sticking.
Fair enough.
I mean, if you're coming from some kind of Eastern, like Far Eastern area, that'll help you narrow it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like they're all, I don't want to say absurd. Like one of the random ones is Ryu Thunderheart, and I was like, oh no.
Well, then don't use a generator.
Yeah. I mean, if you're using a real name, just choose a country, and then choose a name from that country.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah, like since this is historic, name generators are fantasy.
Yeah.
Like choose like Indian, Chinese, Japanese, Korean.
Yeah, I was also trying to possibly lean into like other folks have given me a name more suitable to where we are now, so like I'm known by a different name.
Yeah, just choose a name that's unpronounceable to people here, and then you have a given name.
Yeah, it's. I had one which like translated to like scholar in Arabic, and I think it was. Oh, what was it? Hold on.
Like it helps with like Chinese names and Japanese names at the time. Basically, they're just words that mean something. Like my Chinese name basically means extraordinary intelligent. That's my Chinese name. You know.
Unsurprising.
Like, that's kind of how people name the kids. You know, like there is an aspiration that becomes a name.
All right. Well, I mean, if you're still in trouble with that, we can chat about it a little bit outside of the camera area. But okay, so things I guess left for everybody to do is to finish leveling the characters. We'll spend any gold, and we will select spells and rituals. So we'll look at those spell lists in short time. Otherwise, I think we've got some pretty solid protagonists here, and we'll dive right into Sigil of Jerusalem in our next episode. So I'd like to thank you for joining us for session 0 and getting a little insight into the Historica Arcanum, Era of the Crusades, and Tales of the Valiant, if you haven't already familiarized yourself with that. And as you can see, it's still pretty close, compatible enough for your purposes, and unsurprising since Cobble does a whole bunch of 5e stuff. So why don't we say goodbye here, and if you have anything you want to plug, something you're working on, try to stick to evergreen items, because I have varying processing times and uploading times for these videos. So if you want to plug a Kickstarter or something like that, better have a long campaign time, just to be safe. So let's start with Tolly. We'll just go in reverse order from last time. So if you want to say who you are and who you're playing, though if you don't have a name yet, that's okay. You can say unnamed.
Yeah.
And we'll move on from there.
Yeah. So luckily I am named, and my name is Tolly. I will be playing a sort of pilgrim monk. I have some name concepts that I'm working through, but I'll get there. And until next time. Otherwise, I have nothing to plug. I am plugless.
Ray?
I'm Ray. I'm playing Jeula, the flagellant cleric. I'm probably going to refuse to have a religion.
Refuse what?
To have an actual defined religion. I don't believe in organized religion.
Sure.
This whole Hebrew, Christian, Muslim divide is ridiculous.
Sounds good.
I am just a messenger from God.
Nice. Are you gonna be one of those guys that sits on like posts in the middle of nowhere? Anchorites?
Easy.
Is that an anchorite, I think? No.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
Look at that. Although you hate yourself more. All right, cool. Anything you want to plug?
Nope. I have nothing to plug, as usual.
Suni.
That's good, guys. My name is Suni. I'm going to be playing Atash, who is a grave-robbing, fallen Aasimar that is going to bring doom to a corner near you. And my plug is going to be Wham Bam Neuro 10 with 3 N's, and that might change later. Who knows?
That's on any and all social?
That's on all the socials.
Okay. All right, and last but not least, Crow.
Hi, I'm Crow again. I don't have anything to plug right now, especially nothing evergreen, and also I'm not on socials currently because Hellscape and Hellsite. So yeah, it's all for me currently.
All right, and you're playing?
Oh, and I'm playing Omar, the barbarian Aasimar monster slayer.
Nice. Okay, and I'm Simon, and whether it's good for my psyche or not, I am exposing myself to the hell sites for the time being. You can find me at Tabletop Almanac on them, and also on this channel with other actual plays and reviews, or on Dork Tales once a month, or for special events like Extra Life, and occasionally on XPath, but occasionally. So thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time. We'll kick right off into Historica Arcanum, Era of the Crusades, Sigil of Jerusalem. Thank you, and goodbye, everybody.